I've got a cup of tea. In a PoE2 mug. Not allowed to say PoE2. I have to say Path of Exile 2. It was in the little pack I got sent. Yeah, you're not allowed to say poe2. We get all the influencers, all the content creators get sent a little pack. It says, please do not refer to the game as poe2, so I won't. Let's play poe2. Let me tell you how the negotiations for this stream went. Because this is my job, of course. Now, I love the game, don't get me wrong, but this is still my job. They sent me a message, they said, hey Josh, do you want to do a sponsored stream for Path of Exile 2? And I responded saying, you fools! You absolute imbeciles! I was going to play it anyway! And then there was a moment of silence, and they kind of responded with, Josh, do you want the job or not? And I'm like, I probably should. It's my career. I don't know why I negotiate myself out of career, but yeah, okay, cool, that's fine, we'll do that. And then they're like, okay, we'll send you all the stuff over and get it all sorted. But no, it turns out that I'm just really bad at business when it comes to a game that I actually want to play. When it comes to a game that I want to play, and they're like, because there's that rule in business, play it cool. You gotta play it cool. You gotta be chill. You gotta be relaxed. You can't let people know you want to be here. This is the official streamer client. Now, the difference is, of course, that I can't log into it. What class am I going for? We have two choices. We have either Poison AoE Ranger or not that. Here's my reasoning. Spears, objectively the best weapon ever made. Bows, throw tiny little spears at your enemies. Poison, they die slowly. So, throw tiny spears at our enemies, wait for them to die, kind of carry on. Just that. See, that way we don't need to be near the enemies. We can just wait for them to die. It's going to be very easy. The login boss is without a doubt the hardest boss. What I loved was that when I was talking to Talkative Try, and he said, Josh, I'm one of the standalone client's superior race. What are you doing playing on Steam, you peasant? That's exactly what he said, word for word to me. And I said to him, try listen. I haven't downloaded a standalone client for a game since 2006. I discovered Steam. I discovered that Steam allows me to download every other game launcher, and this way I can play the game launcher while the Steam process is running in the background, because that lets my PC know who's boss. Sometimes my PC looks at me and it says, Josh, could we just run a game without running the Steam client for once? Maybe we don't need the Steam bootstrapper going on at the same time. Maybe we could save some VRAM. Maybe we could save a little bit of processing power by not running the Steam client. And I say, PC, shut up. Run the game in the Steam client. And to make it even better, run it in windowed mode. Oh yeah, I'm playing the game in windowed mode. I asked Try for help with this, and he didn't help, but Grinding Gear Games have sent me this. This is a puzzle box. It's actually Baldur's puzzle cube, and apparently if you spin this top bit here, it has some cool light-up effects, which I think is pretty... Yeah, there we go. There's some flashing light effects going on. It's a crazy complicated puzzle cube, like insanely complicated and well made and super bloody crazy, and you have to solve all of it, and there's a prize in the middle of it, and that'll take me about 10 minutes, I think. Has anyone not been in this stream before? Right, let me set some expectations. Whatever your expectations are right now, I need you to lower them, because once you've lowered them, we're going to be in a much better, much more stable, safe place. Right? Lower them. It's the first thing you need to do. Imagine being overwhelmed. Imagine you watch a stream and it's so good, the streamer is so intelligent, they're so skilled at the game, they're amazing. Imagine being overwhelmed. That's not going to happen here, don't you worry. But imagine being underwhelmed. You join a stream and you're like, this isn't the one, the vibes aren't good, he's not talking enough, he's not playing the game well enough. That won't happen either. You will be, in this stream, whelmed. You will leave saying, that was a stream of a man playing Path of Exile 2. It will neither overwhelm nor underwhelm. You will leave thinking, I got exactly what I was promised, and I feel sated. Not happy. We're not going to go that far. It's almost like buying a meal from a cheap fast food place that's just a bit... Hang on. Message from Kaboom simply says, stop yapping. Oh, fuck, he might be right. I'll take your advice. Let's see how good the Twitch stream is now. Yeah, you were right. This is way better. Stare directly into the camera. I mean... Can you imagine someone who's never seen this stream before being like, I'm going to check out Path of Exile 2. I wonder what the Path of Exile 2 streams are like, and all they get's this. Hold it for 15 minutes. Oh, you vastly overestimate me if you can think I can do anything for 15 minutes. You get 2 minutes worth of excitement and then possibly 30 minutes worth of Warhammer 40k lore. You know what this game makes me feel? I'll tell you, genuinely, seriously. A couple of years ago, I was in Ghent, which is in Europe. Incredibly beautiful city. And I was there for an event for Baldur's Gate 3. I got to meet the Larian team, got to meet Sven, got to meet some of the voice actors, got to play Baldur's Gate 3 before it launched. The vibe at that event, of the Baldur's Gate 3 event, was, I think everyone knew that they had something special, but they didn't know how special. And then Baldur's Gate 3 released, broke an absolute load of records, everyone bloody loved it. I'm getting that same feeling from Path of Exile 2. I think this is going to be more than we realize it's going to be. I think it's not going to change the world, but it's going to establish itself within the genre, within the gaming landscape, in a very solid, very powerful way. Genuinely, I do. Actually, something funny yesterday. Because I chat with the guys from GGG, and the last thing I sent my contact that works there was the GIF from the film Airplane of Leslie Nielsen leaning through the door saying, I just want to tell you all good luck. We're all counting on you. And the only reply I got back was, thank you, crying emoji. Why are there 3.3 thousand people here? We're just sitting in a waiting screen. If I'd have known this is how we get the most successful streams, I'd have done this ages ago. I'm going to sit in waiting screens for games that aren't even online anymore. Let's see, if there's one thing that's overwhelming, then being the most whelming thing in the world. Yeah, so... if you actually, the ironic thing is, if you were the most whelming stream in the world, it would be itself impressive. I would actually come fourth in a most average competition, which is still respectable, but not enough to get me any kind of actual recognition, which, if anything, makes you remarkably average. Are we getting a 72-hour login stream? Goddamn hope so. Dear Josh, I have ADHD and struggle with sticking to tasks and forming habits. I burn out easily. Have you got any productivity tips? Have you tried getting into RuneScape? It's not going to be beneficial for you at all. It's a kind of tangent that I think would be fun. I don't think it's going to help your productivity. I think that could be fun. Have you tried getting into Path of Exile 2? Have you tried learning all of the skill tree in Path of Exile 1? I'm not offering solutions to your problem here. I'm offering ways to forget about the problem for a bit. That's the best I can do. Really. Josh being evil pirate software. Yeah, we're two sides of the same coin. If I could invent a new brew of coffee, what would it taste like? It would taste like tea. And not be coffee. That's what it would do. I once worked on a lady's computer that had not been shut off since 2012. It angers me, the sheer amount of people who laugh at and mock IT crowd or IT people when they say, hey, have you tried turning it off and on again? Because unless you have worked in IT, you have no idea the amount of people who just don't do it. I had to actually invent what I would tell people to do if I need, because I've worked with not full-on IT support before, but I've tried to talk people through problems. And when I say, hey, have you turned it off and on again? They always say yes, always. And I say to them, okay, well, I just need a specific number that's actually on the back of the plug that's plugged into the wall. So could you turn it off, pull the plug out, and tell me the number that's on the back of the plug? And then they do that. And that's the only way that I can guarantee that they've actually unplugged it, because then they feel like they're doing something. Then they plug it back in, and then we can try again. Now I know that we're starting from a kind of a base level. That's what we do. Tell them to do something that you don't need them to do, that involves them doing the thing you want them to do. Just say that you need a number from something. Wait, plugs have numbers. No, they don't. But that doesn't matter. If they say, yeah, there's no number on this plug, I'm looking at it, I say it's between the 3 pins or the 2 pins. Can you see it? They're like, no, there's no. I'm like, oh, okay, don't worry. That's fine. Plug it back in. We'll start again. And then they plug it back in. I'm like, ha, tricked. The Millennials in the chat, and I goddamn know you're there, because we're playing Path of Exile 2. You're Millennials. Admit it. Have you ever been buying something on your phone, and you've stepped back and thought, this is a computer-level purchase? You can't buy big things on your phone. You have to buy small to medium things. Slightly bigger laptop. But big purchases require the big screen. They do. There's a level of gravitas that buying something, like I could be sitting there with my phone open and Amazon scrolling through it going, yeah, I need to buy that. Ooh, that's a bit expensive. I'm going to buy the exact same thing, but on a bigger screen. And then I close my phone, go over to my PC, boot it up and buy the thing there, because that feels right. Every purchase is either a phone level or like I can order an Uber on my phone. I can get a pizza on my phone. But if I'm going to order something bigger, then I've got to go to the computer. It's true. You never buy anything expensive through your phone. You don't do it. It's not allowed. Josh, you are the GOAT gamer. Thank you. It's true. I have played Goat Simulator. And I don't know why haters deny this fact. You need to have haters. I believe that a famous man once said, you got haters? Good. That means you stood up for something. And you know who that man was? Jesus. He taught us a lot. He really did. And Gandhi. He also said the same thing. Amen. Amen. Amen's in chat. Amen's in chat if you believe that, without a doubt, we should be following the teachings of Riker, to be fair. I think Riker was probably the Star Trek Jesus. He truly was, if Picard was God at that point, clearly. Unfortunately, I still have Facebook, so I'm still forced to see those incredibly stupid AI pictures of ridiculously ripped Jesus. Has anyone seen those? I'm kind of getting more into the American vibe of what Jesus should be. Just like this absolutely roided up beast. Just full on bringing justice. He would have fought the Roman Empire straight on. That would have been great. Would have loved that. Josh, I appreciate your thoughts on speaking with more authority. Thank you. I am objectively always right. Could you help an absent-minded soul? I have a problem while speaking where I cannot remember the words. Just pause. Just pause. So here's a thing that I do which does not fix the problem at all, but I do it a lot. If I forget a word for something, I smash 2 words together to describe it. For example, I was at a friend's house, they had served me dinner, and I wanted them to get a fork out of the drawer. But for some reason, my brain forgot the word drawer. So I panicked and improvised. And I said, could you please get me a fork from the cutlery coffin? And they looked at me. And they thought I was stupid, but they knew what I meant. And I saved it. The cutlery coffin. That's what the Germans do. They just smash two words together. Hospital? No. Krankenhaus. House for people what are kranken. Flammenwerfer. I mean, to be fair, the English of flamethrower also does that. You can just smash words together. And it works sometimes. Rest in silverware. Kindergarten. Garten full of kinders. Here's a random linguistic joke. You might think that your children are kind from whichever country you're from, but I guarantee you German children are kinder. I'm going to let that one sit for a bit while you all write it down. You don't all need to laugh at once, it's okay. You can save that laugh for later if you want to. Some of you have worked it out. Oh, you know what? If we can't log in, I guess we're going to need some jokes. What did the pirate say to his best mate on his 80th birthday? Aye, matey. All right, we've got to kill some time. So, the view count dropped. Cowards. That's who left. Absolutely. Like at least 100 people were there going, fuck it, I'm going to go and watch Ziz around instead. No, you stay here. It's going to get worse. I'll just tell you my favourite joke. My favourite joke of all time. I was at a funeral the other day. It starts dark, but it gets better. Bear with me. And I said to the leader of the procession, would you mind if I say a few words? And they say, sure, go ahead. So I stand up and I shout, bargain! And I sit down. They turn to me and say, thanks. That means a great deal. Now, regular viewers will have heard that joke a couple of times. If you become a regular viewer, just so you're fully aware, you are going to hear it again. I've got about 2 hours worth of material that I recycle. I've been doing this for the last 3 years. Thankfully, no one stays longer than 1 hour. So whenever you log into the stream, you never know if you're going to get a bit of new stuff. Because I mix up where it is. I change the placings around a little bit. For a video that I was making recently, I've also been using this, which is a pointer. The problem with using this is I very much enjoyed using this to make a point in the videos when I'm like, if you'll observe, I like the authority that this brought me. So I might need to use this pointer to make a point more. There's a level of authority. It's like a finger wag, but longer. I love it. It's my teacher showing up again. And the bell doesn't dismiss you. I do. Until everyone is sat down, no one is leaving. Will there be homework? No, but it's your own time you're wasting and I won't help you after the fact. I prepared for this stream by buying bottles of water, filling them with gamer sups, and I got a sausage roll. I lie to you. I got 2 sausage rolls. They are going to power me through today, tomorrow, and Sunday. I've already phoned my family and said, look, I love you all, but I will miss Christmas this year. And they're like, Josh, what's wrong? And I said, I've got to save Rayclast. And there was a moment and they're like, what's Rayclast? And I said, look, you wouldn't understand. I love you. But Path of Exile 2 is a really big game. And I cannot commit Christmas to you while this exists. And someone said to me, Josh, that's very harsh of you to abandon your family for a video game. And I had to explain to them that they would just slow me down. And then someone looked at me and they said, Josh, would you abandon your family in a real life situation like that? And I answered almost immediately, yes. Straight away. My family have actually been very supportive of my niche content creation career. They don't quite understand what it is that I do, but they support it. And that's all that you need. Congratulations, you made my whole group talk about bananas. That's all I ever want to do. Whenever I walk into a room and someone goes, Josh, we were just talking about you, I always reply, as everyone should be at all times. There's a level of authority, a level of alpha. That's what it should be. You can keep your Andrew Tates. I can tell you how to actually be alpha. You know what an alpha actually is? It is a buggy, broken first build mess that you will change before final release. That's what alpha is. It admits that it needs to improve and change and do better, and then it becomes a release build. I'm kind of in beta, or sigma, or theta. I'm actually more Greek letters that you've never even heard of. I've actually progressed past Greek letters. I'm just in numbers now. I'm 7. That's what I am. I like all these bros just slowly add more and more letters to their made-up little hierarchy to make themselves sound cooler. Oh, I'm not an alpha. I'm a sigma. I'm not a sigma. I'm a theta. I'm not a theta. I'm a... Where do we go from there? Where do we go next? What's the next one? 7 ones and zeros. I'm a smegma. We could rock it. If anyone ever asks, if I ever meet a full-on alpha bro in real life, I will just tell them I'm a smegma male and see what they do. I've got nothing to prove to them. I really don't care what they think. Oh, lambda. I'm a lambda male. You're just from Half-Life. This is truly the most whelming launch, because we're not playing the game, but are we having a good time? Everyone's like, kind of. You know what this has? This has the vibe of old school video game launches that used to happen at midnight when people were all queued up. I remember when Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, the original good one, released. In the town that I was living in at the time, just outside London, it was a game or a GameStop, and they had a midnight release, and everyone was queued up, kind of outside the shop, everyone waiting. And to do the release, they had the staff come down dressed in kind of operator gear, and they opened the doors, and then they had staff from the distance, none of us could see, run in carrying massive ammo crates between them, 2 people to a crate that they had filled with the game, and they were just like, go, 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 get it in, run past everyone. The vibes were amazing. We were cheering, we were clapping, we walked in, we bought it, we went home, we played it. It was great. Remember the vibes of midnight releases when we all got together? That was lovely. There's a shop called Game, still exists in the UK, although it's been bought out by Sports Direct recently. I'm going to talk to you now about science, because this matters. And you know how I said that this feels like we're all kind of hanging out under a tent? In university, when I studied performing arts, my specialty was in something called phenomenology. And phenomenology is the study of the human experience of an event in relation to the context and the smaller things around that event, and how they all add together. They all work. They all enhance. A game releasing and someone buying it is ultimately the same process whether you go to the shop to get it or you download it online sitting in your room and playing it. But the experience around that event, the journey of going to the shop, the queue, talking to people, the sights, the sounds, the smells, the process of buying it, the excitement that you all collectively feel, the reading the game manual in the car on the way back home as your parents drive back while you're reading it as the street lights pass every time and you're just about getting that flash of light, or you're playing your Game Boy and you can only see the screen every time it flashes down. That is phenomenology. That is the important memory that you make while doing it. So all of this right now, all of this is still a level of not performance as much, but experience that we're all having together. I started studying phenomenology when I went to go and see Lord of the Rings the musical at Drury Lane. I was super lucky to be able to see that before it shut down. And when I walked into the theatre, there were actors in costume as hobbits and as orcs kind of walking around, and it made the experience really immersive. And I started to think, there's got to be a scientific, psychological, even physiological explanation for why this level of immersion, this level of extra performance affects our memories and our experience so much. And that's when I went back to my lecturer and I went, hey, I want to study whatever the hell it is that humans connect over. And he said, that's called phenomenology. Here's an interesting fact. So, phenomenology is heavily discussed in a French book called Simulation and Simulacra by a French philosopher called Jean Baudrillard. Now, simulation is the idea of recreating a situation that you can practice being within that situation within a controlled environment. You can simulate an event, put someone into the simulation and teach them about the event. A simulacra is a smaller part of that event that, when taken out of context or when placed into a different event, has no relevance to the original scenario. It's a tad more complicated than that, but ultimately all simulations are made up of multiple simulacra put together. Now that book, Simulation and Simulacra, have any of you seen the film The Matrix? You know, at the start of The Matrix, Neo is selling kind of programs that he has made out of his rented office bedroom. You know when he opens a book and it's hollowed out and he takes one of the discs out of that book and puts some money into it and closes it? When he closes it, look at the cover of the book. That book is Simulation and Simulacra by Jean Baudrillard. Because the idea of the Matrix is it is a simulation made up of multiple simulacra. That's pretty cool. See? There we go. And that book was what I studied for phenomenology, which is why all of this stream right now, everything, is adding up to the experience that we collectively have as human beings. The realm is currently down for maintenance. Abnormal disconnection. Try again later. Let's go and see what the latest tweet is, shall we? Also, can we all please collectively agree that it's still Twitter? I felt old when I was walking through town and someone had the news on. I don't have the telly on in my house anymore because I'm old, and you don't just put the telly on. Have you ever been to your parents' house or been to like an old person's house and they've just got the telly on in the background, just terrestrial TV, just playing shows with adverts in them? Just regular, normal telly. Well, that to me is extremely old, so I don't put the TV on anymore. And I was walking past a shop that had a TV on in town, and the BBC news reporting was on, and the news reporter said, according to the latest survey on X. And I just thought, no, I'm not doing it. You are Twitter. I will live and die with you as Twitter. It is not X, the everything app. It's frickin' Twitter. The servers are not yet online. You've been placed in a queue to log in when they come up. There are 9,081 people ahead of us in the queue. Vegeta. What does the scanner say about his power level? It is indeed over 9,000. The problem is that I want a cup of tea. And I don't know how long I've got to leave. We could try the puzzle cube. I've got the puzzle cube. We could try and solve the puzzle cube again. I'm lying. I'm not going to try and solve the puzzle cube. I could leave you and go and get food and come back. I prepared snacks. For the sooner I go, that's true. About a week, hours, get tea. I've probably got time, haven't I? I've probably got time. I swear to God, if this logs in the moment I leave, I'm going to go really fast. I've got some time. I'll see you in like... Don't mess around while I'm gone. I'm trusting you to be very, very well behaved. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be smart with this. I'm going to bring up my own stream on my phone so I can watch. Like a really complicated Ring doorbell. That way, I get to see what's kind of going on with the stream in general. Yeah. Yeah, I'm being smart here. Will I be back in time? Dunno. We'll find out soon. I'm going to go to my own channel. And I'm going to watch on the phone. Okay, this is my own little check to make sure I'm not too late. I'll see you in a minute. Don't go anywhere. I'm trusting you with this, guys. Very much. This is the baby monitor. It's the baby monitor of this stream. Don't mess this up. Some of you are thinking, wow, that was fast. Graphics seem fine to me. Water's lovely. Everything else is playing fine. We are doing a... We're doing a narrative run, by the way. So please don't be expecting... Oh. The realm is currently shut down for maintenance. Try again later. And then the entire game closed.